Hello and welcome to this lesson on drawing line graphs. You are going to need a ruler and a pencil for this lesson, so please get those ready. So here's a line graph at the bottom of this slide here that you can see, and you have been up to now reading and interpreting them. So that was the last lesson that you did, where you read off those line graphs and found out some information about different things. But today we're going to be drawing line graphs. So let's get started on an example. So the first example says Rockstar Jim's music album has just been released. The number of fan followers from a leading social networking site for the first 10 days are noted. Read the data and draw a line graph. So here you go. Here's Rockstar Jim. Oh, and he asks, have you been going on Times Table's Rockstars? I hope you have been. If you have forgotten your login information, then please just ask. I'd like to see you going on Times Table's Rockstars. So Rockstar Jim is going to be making sure that you are learning your times tables. So let's have a look at the number of fan followers that were on a leading social networking site for the first 10 days after their album was released. So we've got the days going down here and the number of fans here. So day one, we've got 300 fans. So you're going to plot at day one, 300 fans with a cross, okay? Not a dot, a cross, please. Day two, 500. Day three, 550. That's going to be halfway between 500 and 600. Day four, 800. Day 5, 600. Day 6, 700. Day 7, 850. It's going to be halfway between 800 and 900. Day 8, 600. And day 9, 450. And finally, day number 10 is 300. Okay, so what do you do now? You need to join them up with straight lines, okay, like this. So from here to here with a nice straight line, you just use a ruler going from point to point. Like so. And that is your line graph. Let's just have a quick look at some of the features of this line graph, and it's really important that you do this for any chart or graph actually in maths. Make sure you give it a title. Okay, they're given it a title here. You also need to label what are called your axes. So here we've got the horizontal axis and we've got the vertical axis, okay? And you need to label those. Okay, so you've got days and on the bottom, day 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see how they're perfectly equally spaced. Okay, that's really important when you're drawing graphs, that whatever interval you choose, so here they're going up one day at a time, but if you're going up in bigger jumps, you've just got to make sure that those jumps, whatever they are, have got to be equal and use the same number of squares per jump as well. And that's the same on the vertical axis as well. You can see here they're going up in jumps of 100 and they're using 1 square for each 100. So whatever you decide, you've got to make sure you are consistent and do the same thing all the way along that axis. So you've got day on the bottom and you've got number of fans up the side. So there's some really important features of line graphs. Now that's just plotting one aspect of data. So here we've just got number of fans, but now we're going to have a look at if we've got two lots of data going on at the same time. So data, remember, just means numbers. So it could be number of fans as it is here. It could be numbers of children in different year groups at school. or how the numbers of children in year 6 vary from year to year. It could be something like that. But what happens if there's more than one thing going on? So now we're going to look at two things going on. So it says the table below shows the number of members Top Sport Gym and Sports Gold Gym have had over the past 6 years. Draw two line graphs to show this data. Okay, so now we don't have anything on our axes, and this is where we are going to have to do all the work ourselves. So let's just have a quick reminder of what we did on the last one. We had days along the bottom here. So I think I'm going to put years along the bottom here. So I'm going to label it years. And then I'm going to put the years on there. So 2014 is the first year. I'm going to put 2014 there, right on that marker there. 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018 and 2019. So that year is right on that marker there. And what we're going to do up the side, well, this is where you need to look at the numbers in your table. So what's the lowest number and what's the highest number? You always need to think about that when you're drawing a graph, because that will decide where you take your graph up to and perhaps even where you start your numbers here on this axis. So I can see here the highest number in this table is 600. So I reckon I'm going to go up to 600 on this vertical axis here. So let's go up to 600. But what am I going to go up in? I'm going to go up, I think, in jumps of 100. Okay, so I'm going to go up in jumps of 100 because that gets me to 600 quite nicely. So you can see I'm going up in the jumps of 100, and look, I'm taking 2 squares per jump to 100. And what are these numbers? I've got to label my axis. Well, these are the number of members of each gym. Okay, the number of members of each gym. Okay, so let's get plotting these points. So let's firstly take Top Sport in blue here. So in 2014 they had 550 members. In 2014 they had 550 members, which is here. In 2015 they had 600 members, so there. In 2016 they had 500. In 2017, 600. In 2018, also 600. And in 2019, they dropped a little bit back down to 550. And now I'm going to join up those points with a nice straight line between each one. And there you go. That's the line for Top Sport. Let's now do the line for Sports Gold. So in 2014 they had 500 members. In 2015 they had 350 members. 2016 they had 300. 2017 they had 350. 2018 they had 600. All the way up to here. And in 2019 they had 400. And then let's join that up with a nice straight line between each point. So as you can see, line graphs are really good at comparing two different things. So you might look at this table and think, well, okay, there's a few numbers in here, but you can't really see instantly what the differences are between these membership numbers. But if you put it onto a line graph, you can see immediately how the sports gold membership numbers fluctuate quite a lot. So that means they go up and down. If they fluctuate, they go up and down. And therefore, when we ask this question where it says, which gym has a more consistent number of members? Well, Top Sport has a more consistent number of members. And how do you know that? Well, it's because the line is more steady, really. Okay, you can see here this sports gold one goes way down and then goes way back up again. So we're nearly done. There's just one more thing that I need to do on this line graph, and that is to give it a title. So I'm going to do that. Move this up a little bit and give it a title. And this says line graphs showing the number of members of Top Sports and Sports Gold gyms. And that is drawing line graphs. So I'd now like to have a go at worksheet number 13. Remember, use that ruler and pencil and make your work nice and neat. If you want even more of a challenge after you've done that, then you have got some squared paper at the back of your Maths Home Learning booklet, some spare squared paper I put at the back of that booklet, and you can have a go at plotting this line graph completely by yourself. So you'll have to draw your own horizontal and vertical axis. You'll have to decide what your scale is and plot that line graph, and that would be really impressive if you could do that all completely by yourself. So that is the extension, but your main task is worksheet 13. So I look forward to seeing photos of those in class notebook later. Thank you.